Welcome to FAQ, where your patient questions are answered by leading experts in medicine and wellness. And now, here's your host, Hailey Hough.
Hi, I'm Hailey Hough, and welcome to FAQ. Today our question comes from Michael, a patient in Lincoln, Nebraska. Michael asks, what is the role of people at the front desk of my doctor's office, and how can I relate to them better? To answer your question, Michael, we turn to our guest expert, Christina Richmond. Christina Richmond is the Director of Operations for Cardiology Consultants of Philadelphia, the largest independently owned physician practice in the United States. She joined CCP in 2013 as a practice manager and has grown with the organization over the past 8 years. Christina earned her master's in public health from the Drexel University Dornsife School of Public Health, and also taught for many years as a professor of healthcare administration. Welcome, Christina.
Hi, thank you.
So, what is the role of the people at the front desk, and how can patients better relate to them?
Yeah, so I think that the most important thing to remember about people who are working at the front desk is there's a lot of the invisible workload that they're working. You see them checking patients in and scheduling appointments, but there's a lot of back-end work that goes into that. There's checking the eligibility of insurance benefits, confirming copays, obtaining referrals, really working on the back end to contact patients, to confirm appointments, and as well as some of the lesser fun things, calling patients and rescheduling appointments when doctors are taking vacations, when things happen. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I can't tell you how many times now we've had to reschedule, move things around, convert to video because of exposures or people testing positive or things like that. So your front desk people are the people who are bearing the brunt of that. And so when you're approaching somebody at the front desk, just having an understanding and empathy as to all of that invisible load that you're not seeing. Those people at the front desk are also the ones who are getting the glares from patients when their doctor's running behind. They're the ones getting the calls from patients or from patients saying, I've called 5 times for a prescription. Where's it going? They're the ones running back to that doctor and saying, can you please sign Mrs. Jones's prescription? Can you please process this? And they're really the ones trying to push through the operation of the whole office. So I always find that approaching somebody at the front desk and being able to relate to them is really coming to them with a sense of empathy and understanding all of the background noise rather that they're really working on. And I always find trying to relate to that. We all have other things that we do in our lives that are chaotic, and there's, a way to connect with people on a regular level and empathize with them and be able to kind of build some sort of camaraderie. And when you approach someone at the front desk and you don't go into it almost in an attacking manner and you empathize with them, you're going to get better results because we're all people. We all want to do a good job. Nobody really comes to work and says, I'm really going to try to mess this one up today. Everybody's there to do a good job. And so really understanding that is going to be the best way to relate to those people.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I kind of feel for them in a way. It reminds me of almost like the hostess position at a restaurant because they're dealing with the frustration from everybody from both sides. So it is a heavy job, definitely. And I totally agree with the empathizing.
Right. They are the gatekeepers of the office, right? They are the ones who, listen, be nice to them. They're the ones that can get you back faster. They're the ones that can really help you connect on a different level. And I always find that the nicer you are to people and the more you're able to relate with them, the more likely they are to be able to relate back to you and help facilitate you in what your particular needs are.
Definitely. And I know that actually with our med-focused research that we did, there was a segment where they focused on primary care experience and how patients experience with primary care and what it affects and just the whole research in that field. And it was actually crazy how much of the front desk people had such a big influence on how their experience went or how they felt afterwards or going into it. I mean, they do have such a large impact on how your experience. It's the first face that you see, and it's the last impression when you leave. So I do think that they carry so much weight. I mean, they're doing so much busy work, like you were saying. I mean, stuff that, we can't even wrap our head around. I mean, they are doing so much. And then on top of that, they are responsible for, making sure that your experience is good when you come in and when you leave. So do you think that their impact is as strong as, it might be described? Do you think that role is definitely...
It's a very impactful role. And like I said, there is that invisible workload and that part that we as the patient aren't necessarily seeing. And it's important to kind of consider that when you're approaching any kind of industry, and particularly in healthcare, when the patients are coming in, they are sick. They're not all there just for a well check. There is a reason people are going to the doctor. So the same thing I kind of tell our front desk staff is to empathize with the patient. We want to see the same kind of response when you're working with the front desk. And as long as everybody understands that you're all there for the same reason, everybody's going to get the results that they want and the care that they so readily need.
Definitely. I completely agree. I think, I definitely agree. I'm going to look at it a lot differently because I did not know that they were doing half those stuff. For all I knew, they were the schedulers. They come in, they check you in, they let you know, and then they schedule your next appointment. But here we are talking about insurance and those referrals. And oh my gosh, I mean, that is crazy. I did not know that. I personally didn't know that they did all that. So, but somebody had to do it. So I guess they're
clicking a button to check you in. There's a lot of background work that goes in. And since the work that you're seeing is them clicking in and checking you in and saying, okay, go have a seat, you're not really visibly seeing all that background work. And so with any profession, it's really important to think about the work that you're not seeing.
Definitely. And, I know we talked about how the patients can empathize, but do you think their role in the workplace is, are they facing any sort of disregard or disrespect in the workplace because of the same feeling of, oh, they're just clicking a button, they're just scheduling?
And so that's exactly what we see, right? We see a lot of people being disgruntled and a lot of people kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, why is it taking so long? All you had to do is click a button. Did you not, like, the doctor's not here to come get me yet? Is that because you didn't do something right on your end? And that's because you're the forefront, you're the visible face of the practice. And so it's really important when we onboard people and when we coach people at our front desk that we speak to them about how to kind of empathize and sympathize with people and really convey a caring and understanding environment when you know that you're just bearing the brunt of it. They don't mean to direct it towards you, but it can be hard, right? It can be hard to not take it personally. Right. So as long as everybody kind of takes a step back and tries to put themselves in the other person's shoes and really understand it, I think that we will get better results. I mean, I'm a patient, right? I'm a patient and I'm on the provider side. So it's important to be able to think about that when I approach my doctor's office and say, all right, well, maybe I'm running late. Maybe they don't understand that I've had toddlers pulling at me, calling for me, and your work situation's this, and everybody has that background noise that you need to think about when you're trying to work and communicate with other people.
Definitely. And it goes into the whole idea that, everybody should have some experience with customer service because it offers a whole new perspective when going into any situation like that.
Absolutely. Customer service is key. And it's something that we look for with all of our hires. It's not necessarily that you need to have years and years of healthcare experience. Some of these things can certainly be transferred into other work cultures. Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for answering this question. I think that was very thorough. I really appreciate you coming out and talking to me about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me as well.
I'm Hailey Hough, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of FAQ.